Hello! I've got a lot of subscriptions to a lot of channels on YouTube, and one of the channels I subscribe to is Alice Magere. I'll put a link to her in the underbar down there. She's done a video recently about a dance show where children were asked to do a fan dance. They were trained to do a burlesque fan dance, where it's sort of kind of, you know, where you use these giant fans to cover up your body, and it's basically a burlesque dance. The idea being that the audience viewer knows that the dancer is naked, but never really gets to see them.
The audience should think that you are nude.
To make this more appropriate, the lady who was the dance instructor gave the children flesh-covered bikini tops.
Everyone in the industry knows the girls are completely covered and everything is harmless.
So that, you know, to a casual observer, they would actually, you know, if they dropped the fan a bit, they would appear naked.
How is this going to fit me? My outfit was pretty tiny. I could fit this on my American...
For authenticity, I guess. Now, in the clip that Alice Magere used, and I'm going to assume it was representative, the children were there. They were about 5, 6, and their mothers were there. I didn't see any fathers. And the way the film was edited with Alice's stuff, presumably the original editing content, was so that when she said, now we're going to do this dance and you're going to imagine that you're naked, and they were, shock horror, and the mothers were filmed. And one mother was interviewed as saying,
no one ever wants to hear the word nude associated with their 10-year-old.
But here's the thing, they didn't stop it. They didn't stop it. They said, oh, I'm a bit shocked at this, but let's go along with it. And I think they put up a little bit of resistance because the dance teacher was interviewed saying, you know, these mothers need to understand that I know what I'm doing, and trust me. And I'm just thinking, do you know, as a father, if I'd been there and I'd had a little girl, which I don't, but if I had a little girl there, if I'd got a little boy, which I do have, and he'd been obliged to dance in such a way that he appeared naked to an audience of adults, I would have put a stop to it. I wouldn't have allowed that to happen. And if the woman had come to me and given me some shit about how I didn't know what I was talking about, how I'm not part of the dance industry, how she knows what she's doing and I should trust, I think I might have been inclined to put her on her ass, because I'm really not comfortable with sexualizing children like that. It just baffles me. However, I got on a train of thought from there. I thought, hey, burlesque, okay, inappropriate for children, absolutely. I can't think of any circumstances where preteen girls or prepubescent girls, never mind preteen, prepubescent girls, should be doing burlesque. It's just fucked up. That it takes, you know, a woman to try and get them to do that, interesting. But anyway, I think it's pretty fucked up. But it got me thinking about burlesque generally, so I had a bit of a mooch, as you do, on YouTube, and there's quite a few burlesque shows. So I had a watch, and I thought, well, what do you want me to make of this? What am I supposed to take from this viewing of you doing your burlesque dancing? What is this? Is it art? Is this erotic art? Am I supposed to be aroused by this? Am I supposed to enjoy your body being wiggled provocatively and having stuff sort of wafted around in front of you? What do I take from this? And I thought, wow, I wonder what the feminists make of burlesque. So I googled, as you do, and, well, there's a bit of cognitive dissonance going on. On one hand, burlesque empowers a woman. Burlesque celebrates the female form and says, look, you're a beautiful creature, just do your thing, show off your body to its best advantage, you know, make lemonade from the lemon you've got, okay? And that's not me being negative. As I say, some women have a perception that their body shape is fat and unappealing. Personally, I do like a plump lady, but that's just me. So for me, as a man who likes plump women, to see plump women celebrating their body shapes, I think that's great. That's wonderful. I don't want to see people going, oh, don't look at me, I'm fat, I've got cellulite. Who cares? Who cares? Each their own. I appreciate there are guys who like thin women and find fat women repulsive. Okay. Doesn't mean they are repulsive. It just means that these guys find them repulsive. That is an important distinction. But I digress. So I googled a bit more and I found stories. I put a link below. Oh, I used to have it mirrored, so it's really easy to work this out, but anyway, it's not anymore. Can burlesque be feminist? Where a feminist tries burlesque and enjoys it. The problem is, it is absolutely objectifying women, objectifying and sexualizing women. And what are we not supposed to do? So the feminists tell us, do not objectify and sexualize women. Oh boy. I can't help but think that this is an issue of class. And that when working class people have erotic dancing and women celebrating their nudity and whatever, that's stripping and that's bad. Okay. But when middle class and the intelligentsia, the liberal intelligentsia, do it, that's art. Okay, that's good. Okay. But even then, there is disagreement in feminists, and you can Google and you can find out as many articles, it seemed to me, that are anti-burlesque and think of burlesque as harmful and degrading to women, as there are people saying, hey, burlesque is okay, it empowers women. And that's when you come back to the problem with feminism, is that feminism is whatever people say it is. You know, there are some definitions of feminism. That it's the attempt to give women equality with men. But there are so many things that feminists embrace and endorse that really have nothing to do with equality with men. In fact, some of these things actually put women above men. And when you try and debate these things with a feminist, the first thing they'll tell you is you don't understand, and you're a misogynist. it's not your fault you're a misogynist. If they're polite, they say, it's not your fault you're a misogynist. You're just a poor white man and you don't understand. You don't understand your privilege, poor dear. You go, really? And you say, explain this, please. Explain that, please. Oh, no. Those aren't the questions. You have to understand. I know there's a load of stuff about women come out, which is fair enough. That's that perspective. What there is an absolute inability to do is deal with facts. The fact that men commit suicide way more than women is never addressed. It's never dealt on. If women committed suicide more than men, that would be an example of the patriarchy. That would be an example of how the patriarchy is grinding down women so that the only way they can get us away from it is to die, to take their own life. Yet the majority of suicides are men. I have yet to see a feminist explain that. The only time they will tackle it is with a mere token yes but, and then they'll start talking about women again. The deaths at work issue, almost exclusively men. The ratio, there are some women that die in jobs, and the ratio came down, but when it came down, and Karen Strauen, Girl Writes What, raised this excellently, and suddenly it wasn't 99% of men dying and 1% of women, not men dying, 99% of deaths at work were men, and only 1% of women. When it came down, so that it was a smaller percentage of men, because there were fewer deaths overall, and so the percentage of women, even though the numbers of women didn't increase, the percentage of women increased. If you got 100 deaths, 99 are men, 1 is a woman, that's 1% women deaths. If you got 50 deaths, 49 are men, 1 woman, suddenly 2% of deaths at work are women. It's doubled! Oh my God! And that was treated as a real problem. You know, the majority of men dying, that's only to be expected. Again, feminists will not address that. And so there are a lot of inconvenient truths that feminism just not listening, patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. And that's their response to them. It's so much like a religion. This dogma that they follow. And when they come across an inconvenient truth, an awkward fact, they do what religious people do, as they sidestep, excuse, avoid anything to address the fact. And burlesque is one of those facts. Can you be a feminist and celebrate, enjoy, support burlesque? Or is burlesque an assault upon women? I don't know. Will the real feminist with the real answer please stand up? Oh well, just a thought. It was an interesting point. It was an interesting point. I've been debating one or two feminists, and I've noticed that universally, and I've watched other debates as well, so this is why I'm saying universally, because 2 isn't a universe. Universally, they dodge awkward questions. They will not deal with them. They pull the classic woman's trick of, we're having an argument and I'm going to win. I don't care about being right, I'm going to win the argument. And if winning the argument means running out the house and slamming the door, oh, where'd I get that one from? When you're busy losing the argument, and then the other guy, the guy can't get his point across because you've disappeared, then that's a win. Then that's what you'll do. What gives me hope is the number of women, and this number seems to be growing, who say, enough with this bullshit. They say I don't identify with this feminism because it doesn't do anything for me. And it's such a nebulous, shifting, squirming mass of conflicting ideas that actually I'm not sure what feminism is, other than the right of misandrist women to have a go at men. There was a need for feminism, a genuine need to establish equality for women in law. But you've got it. You've got it. If you're now saying, I want the right never to be scared ever again, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. You know, do you think men are never scared? Oh, you should man up then. What kind of pussy are you? Yeah, right. You think you should have the right never to be offended ever again, like men aren't offended. So very often, you can't expect to be treated as an equal and put on a pedestal. The two just are totally incompatible. You just can't do it. And it would be nice. There's an old saying that you keep getting told that is true. And that saying is, you can't wrap your kids up in cotton wool. You have to let them out and live their lives. And what we see with some of the feminists coming out of these universities that have been brainwashed by their women's studies courses and their feminist professors, feminist professor, for fuck's sakes, give me a break, is you have these girls, they're not women, they're girls who've been wrapped up in cotton wool, you know, all their lives, and with a burning hatred of men, and they won't they won't let this cotton wool off them. They want this protection forevermore. And they want conflicting things. They want to explore their sexuality, but they want the environment for men to be so hostile and risky that men are increasingly saying, oh, do you know what? I'll pass, thanks. You know, this will be my date for the night. While there are people who make a living out of spouting feminist gobshite, we're going to be stuck with it. Whilst there are people who can make a good living from taxpayer money for finding problems and faults in the opposite sex, yeah, I can't see that gravy train coming to an end. And, you know, you see the clowns on YouTube like Lacey Green, Rebecca Watson, Anita Sarkeesian, and, you know, those are the ones that just pop into my head. Doubtless there are others. They're going to jump on that gravy train just as fast as they can. Anyway, I'll leave one or two links in the description, but Google it yourself. I'd love to hear from women, women feminists, and even men feminists, as to how burlesque fits into feminism. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.